What is you knowing my name? How does that help anything?
Because you up in a public place taking pictures of people without permission, you can't do that.
So if I gave you my name, then you wouldn't be arresting me, is that correct?
Over there, I wouldn't have, unless you had a warrant or something on you.
Okay, so you wanted my name to see if I had a warrant, so to see if you could arrest me.
No, I would remain see you didn't have no warrant. Make sure you didn't have no warrant. That's what we do. That's what all law enforcement.
You can't just walk up and run people's stuff to check for warrants.
Yes, I can when you got no business, man. That's illegal.
You already said it was a public area.
But you can't take pictures. You can walk up in there anytime. If you got business, man. If you got business. If you got business, you
I have business.
What business you had over?
I was there to photograph and record there and do a public service
You
announcement.
can't do that unless you get asked the city administrator or the mayor. You can't do that.
You do not have to ask permission.
Okay. All right.
Have you contacted the local DA and
No,
talked
sir,
to
I
him?
haven't.
I really suggest you do that.
That's my supervisor.
Captain Lynn,
Captain who?
how you doing, sir?
Not very good. Not very good.
Okay, how can I help you?
This gentleman has arrested me for taking public photography in a public area and handcuffed me, made me walk over there with my cane in front of me, which was, at least he let me have him in front of me.
Okay.
And he said he's arrested me because I didn't give him my name. But there was, but he's already admitted it was a public area. It's a public area. You're allowed to take photography and photographs in there, which I was doing. Was
So-
never asked to leave until this gentleman comes here and forces me out of the, puts his hands on me, forces me out of the city hall over there, and then starts badgering me and then handcuffs me.
Okay.
So the question is that open to the public? Is the lobby open to the public?
It is open to the public.
Okay,
Right.
so anything that's open to the public is
Let me-
accessible to the public,
Okay.
which is
So
protected
can I
me
say
the
this?
person. Absolutely, go ahead.
It's like the White House, right? If the White House, if they ask you to leave the White House, you have to leave, right?
Nobody asked me to leave.
I'm saying, it's like the White House, so you can, when asked to leave a facility,
A public area.
a public place,
Mhm.
yeah.
If there's, in order to ask me to leave
Wait.
public property, it has to be a crime committed.
So if asked by any official to leave a public place, if you don't be in compliance with that, then you can be charged with.
Did I leave when you
No, you didn't. I asked you to step up.
You asked me to step out? That's a request. That was not a
So
statement.
so can you be removed from a public place?
For taking public photography in a public
Was
area.
asked not to.
It was never asked not to.
I'm just saying that. What I'm saying is, I'm just looking at the part that deals with the part of the question that you asked.
Okay, the part of the question I ask is it legal or illegal to take photographs in a
That
public area?
you would have to take that part of with an attorney. What I'm
No,
telling
you're the
you-
one charging, that's what I'm asking.
Well, what's gonna happen is, with you being charged,
For what?
then, that's what I asked what he's charged with. And so if he asked you to, if he was summoned, if a Georgia law enforcement official is summoned to come to any place, this being City Hall, and it's a complaint that come then from somebody else, then what happened is, that give him what we call probable cause to be in that place, this being City Hall, okay? At that point in time, Georgia law requires that any person that they engage, that person have to have some kind of identification to identify who they are, right? So if a law enforcement official in the state of Georgia asks for you to produce some kind of identification to identify who you are, and you don't comply to that asking, then that's obstruction of justice. And
So there has to be a crime in order which he's investigating.
Okay.
There was no crime.
So that part of the argument got to be made in front of a judge, because
It can be made here because the charges haven't been submitted yet.
well, here's what happened. If he gonna did what we call a Fourth Amendment, under the Fourth Amendment, right?
Absolutely.
So if he restricted you from,
And he searched me as well too, without.
by law,
without my
by
permission.
Georgia law, you are considered to be under arrest. In other words,
That's considered a violation.
well, but that's what I'm telling you. That becomes
An illegal detainment.
an argument to be made by your attorney, as it correlates in with the Constitution. For him now, if he got you back here, you're on arrest. He gonna tell you what you're gonna be charged with. He gonna charge you, tell you the process.
Well, he's never officially said arrest, he said I've been detained.
Well.
So there's a difference. So technically I'm under detainment, not
Well,
arrest.
Well, as I'm looking at it, like I said, for you to be back here.
He brought me back here to speak to
Okay,
you.
I'm saying, for you to be back here, for you to have handcuffs on you, for you to be detained.
Mhm.
Yeah, under the Fourth Amendment, that substantiate what we call an arrest.
Okay, but again,
a detainment.
are you his supervisor?
I'm the captain of the Uniform Patrol Division.
Are you his supervisor? 'Cause that's
Yes,
what
I
asked you to. Okay. As a supervisor, you have the right to make a call, okay? Again, that is an area open to the public,
Okay,
which we already all agreed to. We all agree that the First Amendment right gives you the right to photograph there as well too, in public areas and public spaces. First Amendment, Georgia Supreme Court's ruled on this many times already. There's already a case law. I really request that you guys contact your local DA's office and talk with them before we proceed further.
well,
Because what you're doing is illegal, because we've already admitted it's public. I was never asked to leave, so you can't charge me trespassing, okay?
well, this is what I'm gonna do from this point, because I'm gonna explain to you that.
I'm giving you the opportunity to make things right.
Well, hopefully, if it's something that you think that we did wrong, it won't be decided by you telling us how to do what we said.
I
We
just
think
told you.
by law.
That's what the law says.
Yeah, well, so that's what I'm saying, for where we're at right now,
Mhm.
for you, from you and I engaging in dialogue about the law and about this, I'm saying, for you to be sitting right there, arrest or detained, that means that your Fourth Amendment, that means we restrict you from, based upon, you say in a public place, we say in a public place, we saying when you're being asked to leave a public place.
Never asked.
Well, that's not up, that part of the debate is not up to me to decide.
But in either case, in order to ask somebody to leave public space, they have to have broken the law. And there's been no law broken. He can't even come up with anything.
Well, the first thing I used to you was, if you was at the White House, which is a
It's
public
not the White
place.
House. That's governed under federal law.
Okay.
We're talking about
So,
Georgia
if you at the White
City
House-
Hall in Fort Valley.
Okay, if you at the White House, or if you at the courthouse, and if they tell you that restrict what you are doing.
In the courtroom, not a public lobby.
And if they tell you to restrict what you are doing,
Mhm.
at that point in time, you need to be in compliance to what they're asking you, because there are agents at that location.
It has to be a lawful order. If there hasn't been any laws broken, then officers cannot give you a lawful order to you to leave. He can't run me out of town just because I'm here in public taking photographs.
I can only tell you that for him to have you back here,
Is it, and I'm not trying to be funny here, but is it because I'm a white guy over here taking photographs in this area?
I don't
Because
look at.
his attitude, real quick to me, I think was very unprofessional.
So
Didn't have any-
there's a different process for that also.
Well, no, I'm saying there's different parts to this, what led to where we're at now.
Uh-huh.
Okay? You're supposed to be his supervisor, and I'm addressing some issues with you that, like I said, we can try to fix now before we go any further with this, before we have to get attorneys and stuff involved.
I can only tell you to protect the interests of the agency, to protect the interests of the city.
Mhm.
If you are in here right now, there are no mediation other than the process in which we do once we put a person in handcuffs, bring them back in and book and restrict them.
I want to stop you there. Again, the reason why he brought me to this room was to talk to you. He said, come back here, we're going to be talking to you. I asked to speak to you. That's why he brought me here. It's not because he brought me here for that. Because they tried to make a compromise with me, a deal out there, said, you just give me your name and whatever, we cut you loose.
Who said that?
The other officer over there, he said, that's all we needed over there. Give me your name.
Did I say that?
I didn't say you, I said they. Okay? Because there was a bunch of stalking over there. I have to go back and look at the video cameras. And again, both officers had body camera footage on. I'm asking a verbal open records request for both of those body cameras.
I can only tell you, this is our procedure, right? Before we even get to beyond where you're at right now.
I'm just
right?
making a verbal request
Yeah.
now.
And so
For the
what you
record.
have to do, you have to, once you leave
Go to the
here,
records department.
come back up here and then you fill out a form.
I'm making a verbal request for the open
Well,
records.
I mean.
Under the Open Records Act.
Like I said, you can make a verbal request, but you're gonna still have to follow our procedure in which we do on the open records. Because a lot of people might,
Well, the law specifies you can make a verbal request.
and then once you did, like you just did, we told you the procedure in which you got to apply to get it, any kind of footage from here, any kind of report. There's a standing operating procedure that we follow. So you did make a verbal. So with my verbal
It says,
communication back to
it says
you,
writing or verbal. It gives you two options.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it has to be in writing.
It doesn't say we have to do it immediately though, sir.
Within 3 days.
Okay, you have 3 days,
No,
but
you have-
that's until the process that you're in right now is done.
No.
After the 3 days and after you've bonded out or made bond or whatever the case may be.
So what am I being arrested for?
Obstruction?
Obstruction for what?
so you finished with me? Y'all finished with me?
Yes, sir.
Is obstruction a secondary charge?
That's charging, because you ain't gonna, you are not.
No,
gonna-
I'm asking, I just need to know what I'm being charged. Obstruction for what?
Hinder my investigation by not giving.
Investigating
By
what?
not giving you information that I asked for.
What were you investigating?
What I asked you what your name was.
You're investigating who I am.
Yes, sir. And you
But for
refused-
what
but you
crime?
forgive
That's what
me.
I'm
Did he
saying.
give you his
He
identification?
didn't give me anything.
I don't have any idea on
I asked-
it.
Well, he,
Well, you
So
probably.
what's your name, sir?
I asked to speak to legal counsel before I answer any other questions.
Okay.
I did ask for
We
that,
can
did I
book you
not?
as John Doe. We can book you as John Doe
Yeah.
until you make
And
bond.
just let you know, as soon as the,
Until you provide your name, we'll book you as John Doe and you'll be held until you provide your information, all right?
So-
What they were doing is, what the officers were doing, is they were investigating a suspicious person, all right?
For what?
You being the suspicious person, having been reported by
The
the
mayor.
administrator that were working on,
By the
okay?
mayor. Mhm.
Okay, so they were investigating a suspicious
in a
person.
public area.
They were dispatched there or called there or made known that there was a problem. And at that point, they have a legal right to be there, which means they have a legal right as officers
What was
to
the
ask
problem?
you for your name and information for reporting purposes.
What was
all right?
what was the reported
Now-
problem?
That was articulated by the mayor, okay?
But what
Now,
was the reported
at this
problem?
point-
Nobody
at
addressed
this
that
point,
with
sir,
me.
At this point, sir, what he's gonna do is.
What's your
he's
name,
gonna
by the way? I
book
don't
you
see
in.
your
I'm
name.
Lieutenant Marshall, the
Okay.
ship supervisor.
So you're a lieutenant too?
All right.
How many
What
lieutenants?
he's gonna do, is,
Could you,
I'm the shift supervisor today, so I'm running things besides Captain Lundy, okay? What's gonna happen is, he's gonna book you in on obstruction charge, right?
Obstruction
What
for
happens is obstruction of officers, okay? What happens is, he finishes booking you in, he's gonna issue a citation for that charge, okay? You have an opportunity to bond out on that charge, okay?
So this is going to jail for,
If you're not able to make bond, then yes, you'll be held until you can make bond.
and you
so I'm
don't-
being kidnapped.
and you don't-
for
if you don't-
bond,
if you-
for
like I
not
said-
giving you my
Like you
ID.
said, if you don't get.
So if I give you my ID, does that drop, am I able to get a citation and leave? Is that how that works?
Well, that's what I was getting to, all right?
Mhm.
You still have to make bond on the citation, whether you give us your name, date of birth, or whether you provide a driver license or other ID card, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You still get that citation, you still have to make bond, okay? Now, your citation is not disputable here in this booking room, okay? When he issues that citation, he will explain it to you. He will give you your court date. He will let you know the time of that court date. He will let you know the phone number that you can call so you can understand what the bond amount is if you want to do a property bond and pay that fine amount after the fact, all right? Now, if you're not able to make bond, if you're not able to find a bondsman, yes, you will be held at Peach County Law Enforcement Center until bond is made, all right?
It does not make
Please don't
sense.
cut me off, sir. Please don't cut me off. Let me talk.
Go ahead.
Again, your citation is not disputable here. He has explained why you were arrested. It was for obstruction. At that point, it's disputable only in court as far as what he needs to articulate, okay?
Well,
Now, you're
do I-
requesting,
do I not have the right to know what the
you're
charges
requesting
are?
counsel.
Do I not have
And
the
the
right
thing
to know
about
the
it is,
charges?
the thing about it is, you're requesting counsel, we understand that,
Mm-hmm.
but you're gonna be booked in the process first.
Okay, now I got a question. Am I not allowed to know what the charges are against me?
He just told you what the
Okay,
charges are.
but obstruction into an investigation for suspicion activity is not a misdemeanor nor a felony. Suspicion is not a crime.
Okay, you from the
Okay.
state of Georgia, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to research your charges.
Okay, you're the shift
Okay?
supervisor,
I
correct?
am.
I
You need to
re-
research your charges.
I respectfully
It's not-
request
it's not
for you to
disputable here.
contact the DA's office first before y'all continue further.
Negative.
Could you,
So you're refusing to
do this
contact
for
it
me?
to verify?
Can you do this?
Okay.
Sure.
Because, I don't know my password in there.
With a live scan?
Yeah,
I got you.
Fort Valley Police Department.
I'm here to assist you anyway.
okay, all right. You're not giving me any information, sir?
In fact.
If I give you that, well, I'll be able to leave.
You got your citation book and your
I
citation?
gotta go get it.
I can bring
Lieutenant
mine.
Postal.
Okay.
Either one.
Is it
matter.
Postal or Postal?
He's the one you want to pronounce.
I want to say it correctly.
I've been called both.
Which one would you prefer, sir?
Postal.
Postal?
Right.
Okay. If I give you my name and information, will you issue a citation? I can be on my way to go.
Like you just said, if you can make bond
What is the bond?
for obstruction,
Yeah.
you gonna give me your information?
Under duress, yes.
No.
No, absolutely, under duress.
No.
You don't have to give us any other information at all, sir.
Well, because
We'll book
I'm-
you as John Doe.
No,
and
I will
you'll be
give you
held
my
until you give us your
information
full name.
under duress, because under the threat of the arrest.
No, I want you to give it to me like that.
Well, that's what, you're forcing it out of me that way.
No, I'm not forcing you. This ought to come up.
Yeah, I'm that too,
Wow.
so.
Okay.
Get right now.
Okay, all right.
So you just said I don't have to give it to you here, but I had to give it to you, and that's what you're arresting me for.
Yeah.
That
you
makes
had-
no sense.
Yeah, I asked you what, if you gave it to me over there, I would never arrest you.
You have to, I asked you, what are you charging me with, or if I've broken the law?
Did I say it? I said it
I
right.
asked you if I'd broken the law, you said you didn't say anything. I asked you
Yes, I
again, and
did.
what'd you say?
I said, you're being arrested because you didn't give me the information that I asked for.
But I asked you, what were you, asked if I was
I didn't
detained
know
or
what I
not,
said.
and you didn't say yes or no to that. I
I did.
asked you a couple of times.
I told my dispatcher you were being detained.
After you put the handcuffs on me.
Yeah, no, yeah, I put the handcuffs on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
But again, may I ask why you went to that extreme? Because again, there was no law being broken.
I was investigating a suspicious person. I got
But
called.
suspicion's not a misdemeanor or a felony.
Yes,
You keep saying it is, but it's not. If you can quote a statute that being suspicious is a misdemeanor or a felony, I'll be happy to comply with you on that. But under the Georgia law, from what I've seen, as well as if you look up underneath NAACP's website, they clearly list court cases and stuff that says you're allowed to film and photograph
You got
there.
a scar or tattoo?
Absolutely, I showed you scars I have.
Oh, yes.
I had surgery.
That tattoo is what?
I've got several tattoos.
Where was
But I did ask for legal counsel, did I not?
I? Okay, all right.
I mean, am I required under law to tell you the description of my tattoos?
Only thing is they're gonna hold up your process, man, that's all.
I'm just asking a question.
I'm just telling you, they're gonna hold up your process. You're not gonna be a bond.
So either comply or be threatened to be held hostage.
How many tattoos you got? Oh, you don't wanna give me that?
Sir, can I make a phone call?
Yeah, when I get through.
Okay. And who will they contact to find out about bonding?
I'll tell y'all that when I get through.
Okay. You mind if I grab my phone for now?
Not right now.
Is that you don't mind or you do
No, I don't
mind?
want you to right now.
Okay. Well, being arrested for filming and taking photographs in Fort Valley City Hall because the mayor had an issue with it
What
that never said
education you got,
anything.
man?
I'm sorry?
How many years of education you got?
That's irrelevant, sir.
Okay. You're a veteran?
I did ask for legal counsel and you keep asking me questions.
Okay. I apologize, I won't ask you no more.
Okay. So. I just don't understand how you can say it's a public area and public space and that all of a sudden you got, yeah, that makes no sense. But I do want to go on record, once I speak to legal counsel, I'd be more than happy to provide anything I'm legally allowed to provide or have to provide. I
Okay.
do not understand my rights at this time, nor what I'm legally allowed to, obligated not to have to give, or what information not allowed to give.
Okay. Boys, I ain't did this in a while, man.
It's all right. You remember how to issue a citation, right?
Yeah.
You want to switch places, we can do that.
But, okay, now, information's not going in, so I can't go to the next page.
Hold on one second. Look at Lieutenant Marshall.
You have your body camera on still, sir?
No, cut it off, man.
Can you turn it back on? Because I like to make
Okay.
an audio.
I got it on, man.
Hmm?
I got it. See that red?
You said you cut it off, that's what I was asking.
I didn't cut it off.
Well, I have a Sony camera, I got a body camera, a cell phone camera on me, as well as batteries for each in the small black compartment, and
Be
a
right back.
Sony Handycam DCR SX85 model with a large battery in the back.
I get it. I'm gonna get it all that.
Well, I'm just making an audio log as well too, things seem to be missing. I've got SD cards in both, each of them were audio and video recording. I know they fully function because I do a test prior to coming out here. 2 officers, how many officers are out there? Do you know all the officers' names are out there? There's like 4 or 5 of them out there. When you guys surrounded me up against the corner of the wall. Let's see, there he is. Yeah. 3 Sony batteries. Being arrested for taking photographs. Did you just see that in the news recently? 13 WMAZ, that officers just arrested some people for the exact same thing, taking photographs in public in a public space.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was on the Making News, I believe. And those officers are in a lot of trouble for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's already been ruled several times that it's legal to take photographs in a public area, in public spaces. I mean, the charges haven't been submitted. I'm just asking for you to do the right thing. Obstruction because I didn't give you my name for something that I didn't break a law prior to that first. Sure do wish I could make a phone call to Fort Valley, Georgia Police Department. Or have somebody call over here. So you're gonna give me the opportunity to make bond here myself, or?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what that is yet?
I'll tell you, man, we'll get to.
I'd also like your business card too, if you don't mind, sir, since you're the arresting officer.
Man, I gotta get some, man.
Do you not have one?
My number be on the ticket.
Okay. Your badge number or
My badge number.
employee number?
My bad number.
Okay. So again, you're charging me for obstruction. That's your charge? I just want to make sure I was clear on that.
You'll see, you'll see the ticket.
Okay. Are there any other charges that you're going to try to add on as well too? And there's a bee in here as well too, flying. I may be allergic to bees. Just for future references, for people with canes, it's better to do a double cuff in the front so they can walk and not have to have their wrists touching trying to use a cane. It's almost impossible to walk with the cane, and it causes a great deal of stress on the back. You hear me, Lieutenant Postle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's just common courtesy. Specifically, since there was no issues other than I didn't provide you my ID. I think that was a little excessive.
Would have been nice if you would have given me the opportunity to leave as well too.
Well, I asked you to step outside. If you
Did I not walk outside?
If you give me the information, I was gonna let you go, man. If anything been on, I was gonna let you go.
Would you let me go return back to shooting video and photographs?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. You want to be able to go back in?
So you would have prevented me from still taking photographs at the Fort Valley City Hall, even though it's open to the public.
Yes, sir.
Even though that violates the First Amendment right?
It didn't violate your management.
First Amendment right?
You want to ask me questions, but you want me to ask you questions.
I don't have to.
Well, I don't have to either, man.
Actually, you do.
No.
You're arresting me.
Stop
Marshall,
what you doing, sir.
Marshall,
Mm-hmm.
can you help me get this over with?
Mm-hmm. All right, sir, per your request, we're gonna be contacting the VA's office, but we need you to wait in this holding cell until we go.
Okay. May I get my cane,
You
please?
may bring your cameras and everything at your
Thank you very much. Can you hand me my cane, please? I do appreciate you at least contacting the VA's office. There you go. I'll go get that straight. You did take care of all my stuff. Now, what that cost, I'm thinking about taking this over if you don't mind. Alright guys, I'm in the detaining cell now. Yay! Finally happened. Taking photographs in the public area. Yeah, we need to do a calm flood over here. Make sure you contact the Fort Valley, Georgia DA's office as well too. I was taking photographs of the city hall area after doing the police department. Sir put his hands on me and forced me out of city hall, and then started demanding my ID from me. Wouldn't tell me what law I'm broken, and then slapped cuffs on me and now charging me with obstruction for investigations into a suspicious person. And he wouldn't tell me what it was. I was never asked to leave the public area. I know it's brick walls, guys. You have to know. I apologize. It's a small area. Thank you, Cable Gentlemen. Absolutely. Please mirror this. Get the information out there, guys. This live feed, feel free to do that. Yeah, thank you, Evil Z. As you know, I try to be respectful, but I also stand my ground on my constitutional rights. They are going to contact the DA's office to try to get clarification on that. Yeah, they're going to look under John Doe right now and threaten to keep me here until I give my name and information to me. They're threatening to keep me in this cell. Haven't given any information to them. Well, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, somebody look up the Fort Valley DA's office and put that online as well too, if you would, please. in case my cameras get confiscated and deleted. This is the picture of the handcuff. This thing, he's arresting me for obstruction. I'll be right back.